Hi everyone, I'm Sir July, and for this slide sets, we will be discussing the types of acquired immunity. Let us first define some terms. Immunity refers to the protection of the body from disease. Immunity to disease may either be natural or acquired, active or passive. Antigens are substances the immune system recognizes as foreign or non-self. They provoke a specific immune response when introduced into the body. In other words, antigen exposure results to the formation of antibodies. Acquired immunity can be natural active, artificial active, natural passive, or artificial passive. It is pretty easy to understand it, but for visualization, I usually present it using quadrants. On one axis, we ask the question, what is the source of the antigen or antibody? Is it natural or artificial? On another axis, we ask the question, what is the duration? Is it long duration, meaning active, or is it short duration, meaning passive? Active immunity occurs when the body produces antibodies or develops immune lymphocytes against specific antigens. Memory cells, which can produce an immediate immune response on re-exposure to antigen, provide the long-term immunity. In other words, in active immunity, the body is exposed to antigen, which will now elicit an immune response resulting to antibody production. Passive immunity provides temporary protection against disease-producing antigens. Passive immunity is provided by antibodies produced by other people or animals. In other words, the person is receiving an antibody that is already produced by an animal or human. Once we have plotted the axes, let us now give examples of each. Basing from the intersections of the two axes, immunity may be natural active, natural passive, artificial active, or artificial passive. Active immunity can be naturally acquired, resulting from contact with a disease-producing antigen and subsequent development of the disease. Naturally acquired immunity is common for diseases such as chickenpox and hepatitis A, making the risk of developing the disease a second time very unlikely. To simplify, we ask, is infection natural or artificial? Of course, it is a naturally occurring event. Will it produce long duration or short duration of protection? Since the person is exposed to an antigen, it will produce long duration of protection, and therefore, it will produce an active immunity. Therefore, infection is an example of a natural active immunity. Immunization or vaccination is used to provide artificially acquired immunity. The purpose of vaccination is to establish adequate levels of antibody and or memory cells to provide effective immunity. Vaccination introduces the disease-producing antigen into the body in a manner that will stimulate the immune system to form antibodies and memory cells but will not produce disease. To simplify, is vaccination natural or artificial? It is not a naturally occurring event. Will it produce long or short duration immunity? It will produce a long duration immunity because what is being introduced is an antigen. Therefore, vaccination will produce artificial active immunity. To reiterate, passive immunity provides temporary protection against disease-producing antigens. Passive immunity is provided by antibodies produced by other people or animals. These acquired antibodies are used up. They either combine with the antigen or are naturally degraded by the body, and their protection is gradually lost. Therefore, the immunity that they afford is short duration. Naturally acquired passive immunity is provided by transfer of maternal antibodies via the placenta and breast milk to the infant. So again, we ask, is breastfeeding natural or artificial? Obviously, it is natural. Will it afford short or long duration of protection? It will only provide short duration of protection because what is being given to the newborn are antibodies which will soon be degraded. Therefore, breastfeeding is an example of a natural passive immunity. Rabies human immunoglobulin and hepatitis B immunoglobulin are examples of immunization used to provide artificially acquired passive immunity. The injection of monoclonal antibodies to a person is obviously not a natural event. Therefore, it is classified as artificial. And since what is being given to the person are antibodies which will soon be degraded, it is of short duration and therefore it is passive. Combining the two, your monoclonal antibodies is an example of artificial passive immunity. So how long is long and how short is short? According to Koshir, natural active immunity may confer protection for a lifetime, while artificial active immunity may last for many years but may be reinforced by booster. Natural passive immunity may last 6 months to 1 year, while artificial passive immunity may last for 2 to 3 weeks. So that's it. Let us summarize. Natural active immunity is acquired by infection with an antigen, resulting in the production of antibodies. Artificial active immunity is acquired by immunization with an antigen, such as attenuated live virus vaccine, resulting in the production of antibodies. Natural passive immunity is acquired by transfer of maternal antibodies to the fetus or neonate via the placenta or breast milk. And artificial passive immunity is acquired by administration of antibodies or antitoxins in immune globulin. Pause this video, gather your thoughts, and when you are ready, let us have a practice test, which will result in a prolonged immunity. A. Natural active, B. Natural passive, C. Artificial passive, or D. All of the above. You have 5 seconds. Passive immunity will afford short protection. Therefore, the answer here is A. Natural active. MMR, polio, DPT, hepatitis B vaccines will give what type of immunity? A. Natural active, B. Natural passive, C. Artificial active, or D. Artificial active. You have 5 seconds. And the answer is D. Artificial active. Which immunity is acquired by transfer of maternal antibodies to the fetus or neonate via the placenta or breast milk? A. Natural active, B. Natural passive, C. Artificial passive, or D. Artificial active. You have 5 seconds. If you answered B. Natural passive, you are correct. And for the last question, gamma globulin injection following hepatitis exposure will bring about what immunity? A. Natural active, B. Natural passive, C. Artificial passive, or D. Artificial active. You have 5 seconds. The correct answer here is C. Artificial passive. If you got 4 questions correctly, you did a good job. If not, rewind this video to check your answers. This ends the slide set. Please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Memory Aid Nursing. Thank you.